All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Finance Junkies. Vitaly's going to be about 10 minutes late. Kris should be here in a little bit.
Right before we go live, guys, Amit's voice is like 5 times deeper. It's crazy how he's like, yeah, all right, so let's go live right now. And then he's like, hey, guys, what's up? It's welcome to another episode.
Dude, that's literally me before every stream. Now I'm streaming 4 times a day. It's like you're just here. You press the button.
Boom.
Hello, everybody.
Motherfuckers.
Because if you're not in that zone, it's not going to be a good stream. You got to find the energy. If you don't find the energy,
like
the audience.
The WWE guys, they pump themselves up and then they go out there and they're like, I'm going to be this character for the next, hour or two. All right, let me sit up and take this seriously. How's everybody doing today? Hey, everybody.
I was going to tell you something.
Digital Blade.
I did something today.
Right. Uh-oh. If you mention the word crypto, half of the audience is going to leave right now. 47 people.
Yo, every comment yesterday, every comment was like, you guys are a crypto channel. I'm not watching the pod. Fuck you guys. Blah, blah. It's like, okay.
Right. Yeah, but if SoFi was pumping like that, or if it was Hood, or, you know what I mean? It's like, you got to roll with it.
It's just,
all right, so what are you going to tell me? What are you going to...
Okay, so, look at that. Kelly's scared about what I did. Dude, I publicly...
I'm waiting for the pronouns. Come on.
I did something today.
What did you do today?
I mean, you need to start a workout channel now at the gym. Yo, that's a good idea. Live streaming my workout?
Well, I don't know if you want to be that guy. But look at all the...
Dude, fuck that. No, I don't care, dude. If I'm already live 24/7, might as well fucking take it to the next level. Shit. It's not a horrible idea. I deleted Instagram off my phone. Good idea or bad idea, Carlos? What do you think?
I think for your long-term mental health, it's a good idea.
Why?
It's not a healthy place, dude.
Why?
Even what they're trying to serve you up is not something that is meant to make your life better. It's meant to serve the advertisers and the algorithm that keeps people addicted to it. That's literally what it's designed for. It's designed to rob you of the attention and basically give you a bunch of regrettable user minutes every day. I find less and less utility on Instagram than I used to. And I too would love to delete it. Unfortunately, I do need it as a way of it's for my business. Like, I honestly need to be able to be on that just to maintain some sort of public presence and not be forgotten by people that I would need to roll with in certain circles for work. But as soon as I don't need that anymore, I'm honestly done with it, And several of my friends actually deleted the Facebook app. So I thought about it. For the new year. I was like, can I do it? But it would be irresponsible for me business wise to do that, even though you know how I feel about it. But why did you delete it, and why did you delete it today?
Dude, I was on it for 10 minutes, and I was just scrolling through these random reels, and I was looking at my high school and college's friends' stories.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, this is like stupid at the end of the day. Like, this just like, because I don't like these people anymore. Not in a negative sense. I don't fuck with them, right? Like, I don't care about them. I really don't care about their lives.
Yeah.
I don't care about, their marriages, and like, I just don't give I'm trying, like, the information diet that we have as human beings is so special. And I think the older you get, the more you're like, how much do I really want to consume? Which is where you try to, create that diet. And then you have to allocate it to family, friends, business, all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about these people anymore. They're not in my life anymore. Why do I care about Jessica from 9th grade who's, like, why? And so I was thinking, like, why do I have this app? Because I'm not posting on it. I'm not building a brand on it. I want to build my brand on Twitter and YouTube. And so I'm just, and then you see all these stupid influencers, and it's just like this. I saw LeBron in a Louis Vuitton brand partnership. I'm like, I don't give a shit about Louis Vuitton. I don't care about LeBron. What is this content doing in front of me? And so I was like, fuck it. Let's delete it. And so it's gone. That's it.
A lot of what Heinz ketchup is what I'm seeing. It seems like it's gotten a lot worse. There's too many AI created hot females that's suggesting to be friends. That's true. I go to that thing like friend requests, and it's like 1,000 of these requests, and they're all like spam shit. It really is just becoming overtly an on-ramp for OnlyFans. And I'm starting to see stuff that I thought was against the terms and service. Like, I'm starting to see really sexualized content. Instagram, and sometimes it's like the moment I open the app, like I don't see my friends anymore on Instagram. It's all just become that sort of crazy sensational shit, and then like ads. Some of the ads I do click on, and that's probably the reason why I do keep it. Like, there are some really cool things once you tell the algorithm that you're looking for it. Like, I don't know, just like cool products for kids, like for newborns and stuff. I do find some cool products on it, and that's pretty much it. But the rest of it is like, whoa, this is sketchy, and I don't even see the reach anymore. Like if I do post something to whatever my circle of friends would be, the reach is way more on Facebook at this point than it is Instagram. So I don't know.
Yeah, ET says Amit just keeps escalating the hate. I don't like them. They're the little.
I mean, not, I don't know, debatable. But lunar excursion, Carlos, are you worried about the world you could go? But yeah, I actually am. I am. I think it's harder than ever now to be a parent than it was even 20 years ago when we were kids. And my wife and I talk about that all the time. She used to walk home from school by herself, in grade school and junior high school. It was like not a big deal. Now you can't do that. You can't have sleepovers. I would never let my kids sleep over at anyone's house, and I would never host a sleepover. You know what I mean? I would never want anyone else's kids in my responsibility, just like the way that they have to grow up now. Yeah, the TikTok live streaming, it's really hard to be an adult. I was like, I think if I would have waited another few more years, maybe like if we were just starting to talk about having kids now, I don't know if I would, because we started in like 2020 when the pandemic happened. And I was like, oh, it'll all return back to normal. Nah,
Who still uses Instagram? Put it in the chat. Do you actually use Instagram? Do you scroll through it every day? Because I just started. I mean, again, today I was just like, dude, I'm losing brain cells looking at this content. And if I'm going to consume content, I want it to be finance related, or I want to read articles. I don't want to be looking at, random
nonsense. Can you bring up B Martin at 607? Amit's more anti-Facebook than Carlos. Crazy. To be fair, just to clarify my position, I'm not actually anti-Facebook. I think we do need it, and if they didn't do it, somebody else would have done it. It's a natural, obvious extension of the internet, but it's the company behind it and what I think they're really up to is that I have a problem with. But I do think that the service is a great idea. I just think that if you have different people operating it and you task them to make this an incredibly profitable company without having to base it off of an algorithm that needs to basically monetize people's attention and the way that they're doing that, I think it could be really successful. I think it could, but they don't all have it like an Elon Musk that's willing to lose $44 billion to do it, right? They want to just absolutely make money at all costs, and they have been compromised by the governments that like the access to reach. And so I don't know. I think it's too little. I think it's too late for that platform to turn around. So for me, it's a necessary evil just at this point.
Speaking of Elon, I mean, this is what he just tweeted. I don't know if you saw this. 384 billion seconds are spent every day, or 360 billion, but 384 billion yesterday are spent on Twitter every day. So this is 106 million hours. 18 of those in the US, 25.8 in Japan. X is huge in Japan. It's a big market for them.
Yeah, I've wondered why. I mean,
I've always wondered why too, dude. I don't know how they
population. Wait, can you all scroll up? That the numbers don't add up. You said that there's
yeah, so if you can, so there's 65 billion seconds in the US. If you convert that into hours, that's 18 million hours.
Got it.
Okay. And then 93 billion seconds, which is 25 million hours for Japan.
Who's number one?
Number one is the US. Sorry, Japan.
Got it. No, I'm sorry. Okay. No, I was looking at global. I was like, who the fuck? EU 69%. MENA. What LATAM? What is? Oh, Latin America.
Canada has only 6.3 billion seconds. The UK is 15.6. APAC 60. That's Asia. EU 69. That's not bad. This is growth. It's growing at 10% week over week. Last week it was 360.
Oh, that'll be seasonal too. Wait till the elections. Dude. You know, I mean, that's going to go up significantly. At least in the US, that's going to go up significantly.
MENA is Middle East, North Africa, I believe.
That would make sense. I would say the least regretted minutes that I spend per day are on X, even though I do spend some regrettable minutes on it. I'm just like, why am I scrolling?
No, but dude, I'm not scrolling through random BS. Like sometimes the occasional stupid thing pops up, but it's usually like valuable information, like the jobs report or macroeconomics, because there's influential people putting out their thoughts and ideas on X. Whereas on Instagram, even if you had a thought and idea, like it has to be in some form factor of a picture or a reel for it to get any exposure.
There are some sites, like I think there's one called the Billionaires Club, and they do post some interesting, like they have a unique voice on Instagram where it's like It is like financial information, a little bit of education, and they do fully utilize the 10 picture limit of Instagram in a nice way, where it kind of tells a story in and of itself. Like there's some good sites, and there are some people that are, but yeah, but by and large, it's just smut, dude. And then you scroll down, and then the reels come, and the reels are nothing but smut and bull. It's literally for me, it's just like all this like weird sex stuff, and then fighting, just like fighting, car crashes, like all the worst of the worst of people.
So ultimately, I mean, I deleted Instagram to spend, I guess, more time on X. I guess we'll see if other people follow. I know for the kids, the problem is the kids don't use Twitter. Like they're not on it, right? They're on Instagram.
But that's not yet. Not yet.
I don't know, dude. As bullish as I am on Twitter, I don't think kids have the attention span to read tweets. Like I was on Twitter in high school with my friends because there was like drama in our school. So we were all talking about it on Twitter. But now they're on TikTok and Instagram. It's very difficult to get them to be on Twitter to read shit.
Yeah, but don't you think that you outgrow that stuff? Like now the social media platforms have essentially bracketed themselves within certain age and demographics. Like, hey, when you're this age, you use this and you kind of graduate up. I think Twitter's the one that you ultimately end up on.
I think most college kids still stay on Instagram. That's where their friend circles are. I feel like you have to have a certain niche to be on Twitter, unfortunately. Because if your friends aren't there, you're not going to come, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Yep. Especially now that it's under new management, we'll see. But I do think that some of these like big world events, like for example, I downloaded Twitter for the first time when there was some massive problem and I wanted information faster than the news. I still knew that Twitter was the place where you get like information quickly, And so I downloaded it, even if it was just for that. And then slowly over time, it took a long time for me to be able to leave. I was actually really anti-Twitter for a while, but that was old management. But like back then living in New York, if you were trying to catch the train, right? So I'm trying to catch the train in the morning. I want to know if there's issues on the train. Well, you can wait for if you miss the news in the morning, you're not going to know of any train closures. But if you follow the F train on Twitter, you find out instantaneously, like, hey, I'm broken between 6th Avenue and whatever, plan an alternate route. And so I was like, oh, this is actually super useful. And then from there, it sort of grew.
So I'm willing to bet Kris is definitely knocked out right now. He's definitely sleeping, which is why he's not here. He was up for my last stream, but he's definitely knocked out. So if you want to join, we haven't done Ask a Question in a while. I think it's just me and Carlos. You can definitely join.
Today? I was waiting.
Vitaly said he's going to be late, but he's already really late. Kris, I'm sure he's sleeping because this dude is tired as hell.
I was actually looking to give him the floor to clap back at us for imitating him yesterday. I really wanted to get his response, especially when he knew that there's no way we wouldn't say anything in response. It's like literally the last word.
I don't even know if he saw that, dude. He's definitely asleep.
I did want to talk to him because I again on X, I caught some of that information about Walgreens cutting their dividend, and I'm just like,
yeah. So let's talk about that. If anyone wants to join in the chat, please join. But let me pull this up. What did you think? Walgreens put up $36 billion of revenue. They lost 66 million. They still aren't profitable. I don't get how you can make $36 billion and not turn a profit, but
that is insane to me. Yeah,
it's kind of insane. I'm sure they'll get profitable in the next few quarters. It was rising labor costs, but still.
But I mean, they've been around forever. How the fuck are you not profitable? I want to look at their balance sheet.
It's like insane. And they cut the divvy from 45 cents to 25. Like that's a hard way to start off 2024 for a Verizon. I mean, that's tough.
But it makes sense, and I'd imagine. I mean, a place like Walgreens, I'd imagine they're just getting crushed by someone like an Amazon, or even the online. It's just, what do you go to Walgreens for right now,
dude? I live near Walgreens in the apartments in Newark, New Jersey, the Ivy Hill apartments. I was there for like a good 10-15 years, and everyone shopped at Walgreens. Walgreens was our shit.
At a certain point, yeah, absolutely. Walgreens
at a certain point, it was everything. But then in 2013, do you know what they did? They had a partnership with none other than Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. And they had a whole, like, I think in Arizona, that's where they were pilot testing it. And they put in a decent amount of money until it pointed out to be a fraud. So they were trying some innovative stuff, but they never ended up really, building something more reasonable. 6 stores were closed today in New York. Wow.
I mean, they do seem like they do seem like one of those legacy companies that should have seen the digital online transformation coming, and that whole brick and mortar business model just seems to be failing, right? Doesn't it seem a bit like Barnes and Nobles? Like, why would I go to Barnes and Nobles and buy a book if Amazon can get it to my house tomorrow? and then have an easy return policy, and no receipt. I don't have to carry a receipt. It just makes so much more sense to go that way. And you wonder why they don't have an incredible online presence. You have the likes of like Target and stuff, which Target's pretty good too. And Target's probably eating something. That's sure they don't have the what you call it pharmacy aspect of it, which is something that could differentiate them. But yeah, that's not good. I actually really wanted to talk to Kris about it. I'm wondering why.
There he is. He's here. There you go.
Oh, he is awake. It's like we summoned him. He's like,
we summoned him.
No, because I wanted to talk. It's funny because I wanted to ask Kris why they do dividends versus buybacks. Because buybacks are a way of getting money to investors where you don't have to face this. Like when you do need cash, you have to then suddenly say, well, we're cutting a dividend. And freaking basically everyone just tanks out of your company. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it depends on your investor base, right? Some people hold stocks for long-term capital appreciation, which is what Walgreens traditionally is supposed to go for. But also at the same time, there's a lot of people that are looking for income-generating assets, So it just depends on which investor class you're really targeting and how you want to provide value to your shareholders, whether it's through dividends or through buybacks or a combination of both. I think it's like company and board choices, not really anything else. I will say one thing: Walgreens.
We'll talk about Verizon. Don't worry, we'll talk.
Someone said Verizon in the thing, so I just read it.
He's like, say like a dog.
He's like the thing that's gonna make me rich. Oh wait, never mind. Let me forget about that.
No, so Walgreens has, I think, had a pretty substantial history with the dividend, and they've been able to maintain it. So it's one of those things that people just don't want to give up. So yeah, it's just a trick.
Is it a value play right now at $24? You think there's something there?
Or... I haven't deep dived into it enough, but I wouldn't say that. I'd say their business on the inside is being challenged by higher labor costs and shrinkage. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is the pharmacy aspect. You're seeing a lot of mail order pharmacy traction there too. So, it's just one of those things.
I was just saying that, like, that should be something that would differentiate them. But we know that Amazon's getting into the space, and like, it's just hard to compete with the likes of Amazon, I think, at this point. And I don't see how they did not see this coming. I just don't know how they did not see this coming. So I kind of see it as like, hey, maybe in 5 years, these companies are on their way out. You know what I mean? Like the Barnes and Nobles of this generation.
Yeah, I mean, Walgreens is incredibly interesting to me. I think also Amazon with PillPack, Walgreens is a very nice pharmacy that could potentially be disruptive as well to them. But at least today, investors were not happy about the dividend cut. Kris, do you think the final thing on this, do you think the dividend cut was to secure their balance sheet, or like, do you think there was any world in which they didn't have to do the dividend cut, or did it get that bad?
I haven't looked into the financial of Walgreens at all. I looked at the business model, and the business model, usually the way that I typically try to invest when it comes to these companies is I take a very, like, what's the word? Like a circular view. The first thing is, my first circle is usually like, do I agree with the business model and whether or not the business model works? And so the first thing is, I just did not like the retail pharmacy business. So I just said, no, I'm not even going to bother looking at the financials. So I haven't looked at Walgreens financials. So
and why didn't you like retail pharmacy? Because the margins on the drugs?
Well, one, what I just said right there, which is the retail aspect of it, that there's a lot of shrinkage, right? And it's just a low margin business. So
check this out.
Not a lot of growth drivers there. So
this is interesting. Pharmacy chain Walgreens cuts dividends to save cash. Shares slump. Okay, well, Walgreens announced that it nearly halved its dividend payout as it attempts to conserve cash amid low consumer spending and intense competition, sending the U.S. pharmacy chains shares down 11%. Walgreens has been grappling with waning demand for COVID vaccines and testing, decreased spending on personal care and beauty products by inflation-wary customers. It announced a $1 billion cost cut program in October, and it's aiming to win back some market share lost to its rivals like CVS. So the hit from lower consumer spending was worse than previously expended, and forecast a low single-digit decline in the same sort.
It doesn't seem like that's a problem with the consumer. Seems like that's a problem with Walgreens in general. But yeah, as of now, investors are...
I mean, it could be a combination of both, right?
Yeah.
You have to look back and see if they are returning back to what they were pre-COVID vaccine levels, because if they're saying that the waning demand for that and the testing, that's one aspect of it. And then this the lower spending on personal care and beauty products, that's your boy Elf. People just ordering the stuff. My wife doesn't really go to the store and buy that stuff anymore. It just shows up. And she used to go to like CVS and pick up some stuff for.
I mean,
Sephora.
that's where you have to transition to something called omni-channel, where you kind of have like distribution in both the retail stores and you also have an online presence. I don't think Walgreens really invested that heavily into their omni-channel presence, which probably makes them a lot more susceptible to like these e-commerce growth stories. So
was really good at that. Target's actually really good at that. They have a really nice companion app that goes along with it, and they give just the right amount of notifications that get me to go back to the store. Like, hey, just for you, knowing my history, they're like, we've got a sale. If you go buy XYZ, some shit that I already need, they're like, we'll give you a $15 gift card that I'm going to turn around and use it back in the store. So they've been able to do that really well. Like, I don't order things from Target to show up at my house, but they definitely know how to get me to go back in the store.
Yeah.
They're good at
that. Vitaly wants to do the bricks now, huh? You want to copy Steve on this stuff. Let's talk about let's talk about jobs report real quick. Jobs report came out today, 167,000 jobs, 34,000 more than expected. Unemployment claims also came in about 12 to 15,000 lower than expected. It seems like we're still in a Goldilocks zone where inflation's theoretically coming down and growth is not subsiding, along with unemployment not massively growing in that 3.7 to 3.8% range. So the question becomes, is that jobs report, or at least when you guys saw that jobs report, did you think it was relatively bullish, or did you think there's some type of crack in it that we're not seeing it yet? Because Biden didn't host the press conference that he was supposed to host. Tomorrow we're getting updated numbers by the White House, and there's some argument that maybe that jobs report actually is in.
That press secretary was all on the news today doing the tap dance
for the jobs report.
Oh yeah, she was, and she's even getting it from the typically left-leaning media now. They're even like, is this Bidenomics really something you want to attach yourself to in an election year? You know?
Yeah, this is what Bloomberg said. The options market above U.S. Treasuries was a buzz Thursday following the emergence of a large bearish wager that Friday's jobs report will trigger the biggest backup in benchmark yields in more than 9 months. Markets think that the 10-year could get to 4.15. We saw it hit 4 today, and then it came back down to 3.995 to end the day. Let's start with Kris. Any thoughts on the current jobs report we got today?
Yeah, it's good that the total number of jobs is up, but I think you have to really look at like where the job creations really is. So let's take a look at the actual numbers from ADP. If you could share my screen real quick.
Oh, share your screen. Okay, got it.
By the way, Kris, were you actually sleeping?
Yeah, I was.
Oh, he called it. You called it.
I was working late at night. So this is the total jobs number. So you can see here.
But he was dreaming about the jobs report.
No, I wasn't not dreaming about the jobs report. So you can see here the private payrolls are up beyond what the COVID levels, like basically what we lost during COVID. But remember, population growth is always there. We've also got like a lot of migration happening at the same time. So in terms of private employment, we are back up to what we were prior to 2019 and even excess above it. The interesting thing is just watching where the growth numbers are coming from. And what we saw this time is that leisure and hospitality is where a lot of those jobs were created. So we just have to keep a track of like, okay, where is the consumer demand really? Where's the jobs actually going? Where's it coming from? And which areas are actually shrinking? Because I think that'll give us an idea of which sectors are actually weakening versus which sectors could see a resurgence in stocks over the next like couple of years. So it's interesting. Leisure and travel are not the greatest in terms of total value for the consumer because they can be cut at any time in case of a recession, right? So if you look at jobs, you typically want to have like a healthy mix, but you also want to have more on like the higher income side jobs as like a positive for the economy, whereas leisure and travel, those things could be very cyclical. So just keep that in mind.
And I know I say this every time.
Do they break it out at all? Do they break out which jobs are being created right now or no? Like tech jobs, for example.
Yeah. Information technology, I think is flat year over year, but travel and leisure is where the real growth was. But I'll pull it up. We can take a look.
Well, like I was saying, I know I say this every time, but you don't know how many of those are the same person taking on more than one job. And I'm just saying anecdotally, I know a lot of people that own small businesses that employ, say, companies of, say, 10 to 20 employees. And I employ a fair number of people myself to handle some various things around my life. And I know, like, even my nanny, she took on 2 extra jobs. She's like working at a warehouse, packing stuff. You know, she's doing like odd jobs at night just to pay the bills. So
Carlos don't pay her enough.
she doesn't work for me enough. You're not gonna retire working for me 2 days a week, which is all I need now. But you get my point. It's like she's doing what she's got to do to make ends meet, and that means she's got 3 jobs right now. So she counts as 3 of those jobs, but that woman is not living great. She's just, barely keeping herself afloat every month. So, but yeah, that's the real one, is construction. The guy that normally does the work for me on my house, he's told me that a lot of the construction jobs in and around LA have dried up to the point where, like, when he goes to Home Depot to pick something up, there's guys that are shopping in the store asking him if he knows of any leads for work. And normally it's the guys outside. So he was saying that construction has slowed down a lot, and he's lucky to have a job for like the next 6 months. But he's like, I don't know what's going to happen next, because I don't know anyone who's working. So again, this is all anecdotal, but at least that's what it's like out here in Cali.
I mean, that could be a regional thing too. So, I mean, when you break it down by region, you can also see that job creation is materially different from location to location, right? So, like on the Pacific side, you guys are here. Let me just take a look over here before we do that. So, construction led the way in terms of job growth with 24,000 added. Trades and utilities was another. So a lot of this is probably infrastructure spending that's boosting that. Information technology was down 2,000. Financial activities, which is banking services, was up about 18. Education. So this is a lot of government spending right here. So education and health services is driven a lot by government spend. But you see hospitality and leisure was probably the biggest increase, so just keep that in mind. So like I said, I think a lot of what we're seeing right now is just government spending like crazy. So, I wonder if this is one of those things that needs to kind of calm down a little bit on the government side. With federal government needs to slow down its spend, because you can't have like a dual mandate. On one hand, you have the Fed fighting inflation, and then the other side, you've got a federal government drunk on hiring and drunk on spending, because then it just kind of negates each other, right?
Actually, to that point, I just looked it up because you were right. The U.S. infrastructure bill, $27 billion in funding for specific concrete programs within the Federal Highway Administration that are already being implemented to reduce greenhouse gases, all of which that money was allocated in November of 2023.
There you go. Yeah.
That's the new U.S. Infrastructure bill.
Okay, let's transition to this topic. I thought this was interesting as well. Any thoughts on Google saying they don't want to eat our cookies anymore? I mean, this is a whole new way that they're trying to track consumers' data.
I mean, if they didn't have an alternative on how to actually track this stuff, they would not do this. They would fight it tooth and nail. The fact that they're going to be blocking cookies means that they found a way to increase their monopoly by taking out the monopoly of other people. So just let you know, Google is not a benevolent person saying, oh, we respect people's privacy. It's more like it's the same thing as Apple. Apple did the same shit, saying, oh yeah, we value our users' privacy. But in actuality, what they're doing is they're just implementing another form of like walling to keep other people outside of the Apple ecosystem out.
You don't think this is bearish at all for Google?
No, I was just going to say that all that money that Google pays to be like the default search engine, it goes for something. So I'm going to guess, and again, I have nothing to back this up, but I'm going to guess that they have access to deeper level, like a basic core OS that gives you the tracking information without having to do it on the app side. So it's more on the core services side than it is the app side. That's what I would say. Because like to Kris's point, you're not going to block cookies unless you've got a way of getting that information even easier, right? Where people can't opt out.
Well, so remember, like the way Meta tracks people, even if you're not logged into their site, they have advertising that happens across multiple partners. Google has Google AdWords and all of this advertising that happens all across the internet. So they've got to be tracking you somehow. And that probably makes the most sense, that they're tracking you through their advertising. Well, as you move across the internet.
And also, if there's any website or any article that has like a share button, like if this says share to Facebook, right? Yeah. Even if you're not on Facebook, even if you're not logged in, it's Facebook has access to you reading that page just by them being able to put the share button there. So there's ways of Google getting that information. And I mean, let's be honest, most people are using Chrome, at least from what I know. How many people are using?
Do you guys not use Chrome, or do you use Chrome?
I use Chrome.
Everyone uses Chrome, right? Put in the chat what you use. Do you guys always accept?
I also use Brave.
No.
You use Brave? You actually use
Yes.
Brave?
I also use Brave, yeah, and Firefox. So it depends what.
Well, don't you guys use Charles? Don't you use DuckDuckGo also?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes. What really got me back to?
But no, but DuckDuckGo. I don't know. They probably have a browser too. But you're talking about the actual search engine,
yeah,
right?
sorry, yeah, the search.
Yeah, no, and yeah,
Brave is a browser. Firefox is a browser. DuckDuckGo is a browser.
Sometimes I will use DuckDuckGo when I'm searching for something that I know Google is going to censor the results. Like if you search for something like for RFK, you're not going to get the same results on Google than if you search on DuckDuckGo, especially when it comes to.
Do it right now. Let's see. What do we get?
Check it out.
I've never tried this, but go ahead, try it out.
Yeah, like
I'm glad someone mentioned Chrome eats RAM, dude. They totally do. If you one of the easiest way to make your computer run efficiently is just load it up with a lot of good RAM.
Oh yeah,
this MacBook has 18 gigabytes of RAM. It's been a beast.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I have so much RAM. I'm not feeling it. At least on this desktop.
Do you guys always accept cookies when you're on a website, or do you say no?
No. And I actually am the guy that goes in and will only allow like those essential ones, and then I'm always cleaning them out.
Dude, I accept them immediately. I'm just like, get the shit out of my face, dude. I was like, I literally never.
If I'm going on the website, I am accepting the cookie because I need it to function properly. If I'm going there purposefully.
But they will put other cookies on it that you don't need for the essential operation that you clicked on the website for. Like some of them will add some.
No, but you can actually put don't allow third-party cookies. You can put only allow the actual direct website, not third-party. But that does break something sometimes
to operate. Yeah, definitely.
And there is a plugin. I don't know if people use it besides ad blocker, but this one is called. This one's a good one. What is it? Let me see what it's called.
YouTube killed that.
uBlock Origin. uBlock Origin.
Yo, who uses an ad blocker in the chat as well? Let us know because YouTube's been fighting the ad block stuff. You use an ad blocker?
Yeah, I use the ad blocker, but like now YouTube won't let you on it unless you see ads. So
you got to get rid of that.
That's why I subscribe to YouTube.
Yeah, that's why I subscribed there.
Yeah, but that's the way they get you.
Okay, let's pull this one up. This was an interesting one that came out today. ESPN and the NCAA have reached a new 8-year deal over media rights. ESPN is going to be paying $920 million, $120 million per year to the NCAA for rights to basketball, football, softball, basically every college sports that exists, tennis, all that stuff.
Bro, look.
More important is that you have the same ad now. That was that little spinner thing.
To the right. Look what's to the right of that photo. Massive.
They're Google has tracked it so well. They're giving you the same ad.
There it is in action. Bam.
Dude, it costs too much money. It's like $1,500. It's bullshit. There's no way.
$250 for like 5, but that's for 5 of them. You get 5 of them for that.
I can get it from Alibaba.
He's like, yeah, right. I'll go to Walgreens, help them out a little bit.
Any thoughts on Disney pumping up ESPN by giving away $120 million to NCAA every year? I mean, it's obviously tough for them to spend that much money. Kris made a good comment on my market close, which is that big tech, if they owned ESPN, this would be nothing to them to pay $120 million for live sports. But for Disney, it's a lot of money. Having to give that every single. I think that begs the question. I mean, like, dude, Apple would pay this in like, they would be like, all right, here, take $2 billion.
Check. They'd swipe their Apple Titanium card. Ching.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting as well because I mean, this was not the deal they had before. Before it was like $40 million a year. Now they upped it to 3x that, which means obviously the content provider, something you've been talking a lot, VITALY, has the leverage. Like, see, the NCAA was like, if you don't want it. If you don't want men's college basketball sports, if you don't want March Madness, Amazon, Jeff Bezos is on the other line. We could give him a call, see if he wants it.
Yes, but if it's not on ESPN, how many people are actually going to get an
Dude, but all of America has Prime. You know what I mean? Like they'll get the distribution, right? I
don't know. It's a different. I don't know. I don't know how many people have like the smart TV.
If Prime raised your thing $10, they just raised it $3. I don't know if you just paid the $3 to Prime for no ads. I did. I'm not sure if you guys did that.
I didn't do it.
Did you guys do that?
I don't watch Prime that much. I didn't
Kris?
care. No.
Prime? No, I don't know. They probably did raise it on me and I clicked accept on some point, but
I didn't even bother.
My
looking.
point is, if they raise it and they don't even they tell you in an email and they raise it $10 and you have ESPN included, no one's going to say, no, I don't want Prime for $10 more. It's just, I think it's easy for them to raise. They have a lot of leverage to keep giving us stuff and raising the price.
oh, the
at the same
service is
time.
so good. I mean, they actually could probably charge a lot more money for Prime when you think about it. Just when you think the free shipping and the fact that you can filter by like, give me the shit tomorrow. That's incredibly valuable, man. That's like Uber for these products right to your house.
No, it's super valuable. So I talked to a lot of liberal people. I'm in the film business, and a lot of them hate Jeff Bezos. They hate Amazon. And then I'm like, do you order from Amazon? Well, yeah, of course I do. Do you know what I mean? So you can't escape the what Jeff Bezos has created. So like, I'm like, do you have Prime? Yeah, I have Prime. So you're using it. I try not to use it. You're paying for it. What are you talking about? So I don't know this discussion that I keep having, because like the same people who hate the service, who don't want to pay for it, don't want to use it, they go out of their way to try not to use it. They're still using it. So I'm just saying how sticky this is, that it's almost impossible to get away from.
Yeah. Without putting yourself under an incredible amount of inconvenience, which, by the way, was the way we did it in the 90s. It's just now seen as an incredibly inconvenience. And
yeah, but I mean, do you want to go back to that?
No, there are some things that I would.
The way we did it in the 90s?
That's not one of the things. But old habits are still hard to break. Like I said to myself the other day, why do I drive to the store to buy freaking deodorant and toothpaste? I'm moving a 4,400-pound vehicle to a store that I'm going in and I'm looking around on the shelves, and then I'm putting in and I'm standing in a line with somebody who's like with coupons trying to buy jujubes, and then I do that. Then I have to hold a receipt. Then I got a guy who wants to check my receipt when I walk back into that 4,400-pound car, risk getting into an accident to put it in my bathroom. And I'm like, why do I still do that? I'm such a freaking Gen Xer. Like, just have it shipped. Just have it shipped.
Amazon has never charged me.
And anyway, anytime you go to the store.
Go ahead.
I know, but anytime you go to the store and you want to, let's say you want to only buy toothpaste. The beauty of Amazon, I can actually go and just buy toothpaste. I've never gone to a store and said, I need toothpaste. You know what? I'll also get that bottle of Coke. I'll get some chips. I'll get something else. So you always, especially if it's like Costco, you walk out with $300 worth of shit, and you only want a toothpaste.
Yeah, and the jar of mayonnaise
had that
has like straps on it, and you're like, I don't really need this.
I walk out with 6 T-shirts. I don't know what.
I always just walk out with the peppermint patties. I can't. That's my Achilles heel. I just have to eat them all until I get sick. It's actually pretty bad.
What did the last comment say? I missed it. What did you put up?
Oh, someone just said Amazon charges for return shipping. For me, I've always gone to like a Kohl's to return my Amazon. They have a good partnership with stuff.
No, actually, now that I think about it, they do charge you for something, because remember, they're not fulfilling all, like they're not fulfilling all of them. Sometimes they're basically just acting as a marketplace, and you're working with the company directly. So I've been charged a small fee, like maybe $2 to $3 to ship something back to someone, because Amazon's not going to just ship it for free. If they would just like a fulfillment, and it tells you when you're buying it from some specific sellers, or if it's like a custom item or something, like something that the person wouldn't want back. Like I just had these these things made for my kid's room that has their names carved out of wood. So unless you have my kid's name, I'm not returning that anytime soon. And I'm sure if I did, they would give me some sort of restocking fee if I didn't want it due to like bad quality or something, right?
Who did that? Who carved that? Who carved that for you?
It was a website that I went. Was it one of the people on Amazon? I looked through a bunch of them.
It was an Amazon.
Yeah.
It was, you went to Amazon to get that.
It was an Amazon marketplace, right? So another company did it. Amazon didn't do it, but they basically put that person in front of me.
That's crazy.
So they could facilitate the deal, and I'm sure Amazon took a little cut and handled the shipping.
And you didn't go to Etsy first for that kind of stuff?
I did, actually, and there's some great ones like design-wise, but the process of buying it and shipping and all that stuff was not as easy as it was on Amazon. And the guarantee delivery, it was just easier. Honestly, it was just easier.
Yeah, you're giving. I'm actually looking at Etsy again. I used to have it, and I sold it too early, and now it's down back to $76 or so. And their forward PE I looked was like 21. Today I actually checked it out, and I asked my wife, because she used to be on Etsy, but now she's on Shopify.
Yeah,
that's why we're more bullish on Shopify now, and we bought that. She said, "I don't know if I'm bullish on Etsy anymore. I think sellers are leaving it. But I don't know. It seems like that's the only real competitor store that even though it's separate sellers, still seems like it's the only real competitor to Amazon in terms of like these niche products. But it's interesting you went to Amazon for like a niche product for like a name for your kid, to be carved out.
Yeah.
Like a CNC thing, basically, right?
Yeah, I did go to Etsy first.
Have you looked into Etsy at all? I don't know if anyone has looked at Etsy.
I've never been excited for Etsy because to me, Shopify is the clear winner here. I mean, Etsy is not bad per se, but I feel like there's such a unique niche.
But Shopify is not one place. That's not one place. If I need to go figure out to get this thing, I would go on Etsy or Amazon. It's harder to.
You're saying Etsy is a search engine for products, yeah.
But it's also you're connecting directly with the person. So for really super custom stuff, like there is something that I found that I was only able to find on Etsy that I couldn't find anywhere else. I'll just bring it up. Hold on.
Yeah, Etsy is very niche. I've bought things before from Etsy, but it's just, I don't know, as a business, dude, I feel like if we're buying a tech platform, I'd rather buy Shopify than an Etsy.
So I was playing some Korn, the band Korn, the other day for my kid, and she ended up like really liking the album cover. So this is an album cover from one of their albums, Issues, and she fell in love with one of the songs. And she's like, "Oh my God, it's the Ghost." She just calls him the Ghost, and so she really fell in love with the guy. And I was trying to find that doll, and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I went with this one. Actually ended up someone making it. So this is like someone at home making this doll. It was never like officially released. And so I ended up getting like a doll just like this one, whatever.
Kelly has a good comment in the chat. I did see this. Mr. Beast advertised this in one of his videos that Shopify has an app called the Shop app, which is aiming to be a direct competitor. That's like a pseudo Amazon, a search engine of products.
Just shop.
Yeah. I think it's like number 8 on the App Store in the shop.
Dude, they're really great. That little website, if it's the same one that I'm thinking about, where they basically give you they coalesce all of the impending deliveries into one app. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, dude, look at this. It's number 5 on the list.
So freaking nice, because every time I have the option, if it says,
where's Etsy?
Let me check Etsy. I'll check Etsy right now. Etsy is...
You were saying every time you have the option for what?
When you go to checkout, if you have the option to have that app Shop facilitate the delivery, I always use that because then it just shows up in your app and it doesn't matter where you bought it.
Wait.
And it just shows up there as all your deliveries, and you have like tracking information. You can go back and look at the receipt. It's really nice, clean.
Wait, I have that app. That's a Shopify app? I thought I didn't know Shop app was the
it's freaking awesome.
Oh, so you guys actually use it? I don't use it. You guys actually use it. So it's showing third party.
I use the Shop app.
This one, this app.
Well, no, I use it for the tracking
on it, but I've never shopped on it, but I always use that as the default way to just track anything that has like a tracking number, or like from FedEx. Yeah, that's great. I'm like, it's great. I've never actually used it to buy stuff, but
yeah, Kris, you're muted if you were saying anything.
Yeah, true. I never use it to buy stuff as well directly.
Yeah. Like Stanley cups, like this is nice. I'm guessing brands will probably move that way, Give me a brand name that people would want to buy.
Nike.
Yeah,
I was gonna literally say Nike, but I don't know if they're on.
Look up a custom.
Yeah, Nike strengths, and so this way, this is all the strength training gear from Nike. Let's do.
So do you guys think that this Shop app could actually compete with an Amazon or an Etsy, and it could get third-party sellers more sales? You think?
I think so. I mean, the interface looks super clean, and the experience on the website, the app actually looks a lot better than Amazon's app. Amazon feels very like Reddit 1.0.
Yo, low key, that's so
super basic compared to this. But at the end of the day, it's like a lot of it is like I just put the search into Google and see what the top result is, and if I don't get something that immediately takes me to the thing, then I'll just retype whatever I wrote or just copy paste it again and put Amazon, and then it sends me to Amazon. But that's now my muscle memory is to go to Amazon, right?
The problem with me buying on any third-party stores is the shipping, and so I always buy on Amazon because I know I'm going to get it tomorrow. So I just can't buy from a third, but that's just me. A lot of people still buy from e-com stores.
Yeah, they do. Another benefit of Amazon is I signed up for the Amazon card. Like when when they had that Bitcoin rewards card, I was running everything through that card. So I was getting all of the maximum. I was basically getting the cash back was given to me in Bitcoin, and I was just holding it. When that went under, I moved everything.
And then they went bankrupt, and all the Bitcoin was gone.
I got my Bitcoin. I did get it.
Wait, really? That happened?
Got it. Yeah, I got it.
They went bankrupt. Yeah, it was Block One. We both had that card.
BlockFi.
Yeah.
BlockFi had a bit one.
Oh, BlockFi.
Yeah, and BlockFi went under, and it took me months, but eventually I got them. It was like $700 in Bitcoin, and I moved it over to Coinbase. But Amazon has a great card. I'm not going to lie; they have a great card. It's a decent.
Amazon's card is amazing. It gives you 5% back when you shop on Amazon. It's
exactly.
an Amex card.
Giving you good return, and then every once in a while,
it's a no-brainer.
I would say now with the amount of money I'm running everything through it. Like even like my kid's tuition for her daycare, I run everything through it. So I would say now I probably get 5 carts worth of stuff for free based on the points. So I'd have to go back and calculate how much they charge me for finance charge throughout the year, but still.
All right, let's transition to this. Whenever one of us gets a stock pick potentially right, we got to give our flowers where they're due. Verizon's up 6% past 5 days, trying to close in on $40. Gets a $46 price target upgrade by Wolf Research. The guy went on CNBC, basically said they have a high dividend yield. Their debt is low interest. They're undervalued. Their tangible book value will come up as they pay off the debt. All the stuff we've been hearing from good old Kris. Kris, any thoughts on the thesis kind of playing out? And do you see, here's a juicier question, do you see anything fucking the thesis in the next couple of weeks that doesn't get it to that $45 range?
Yeah, dude, why are you so bearish?
There could be some competition from some of the cable companies providing their own cellular services. And then there's also some issues with spectrum not being released quick enough, but that's not impacting Verizon nearly as much as like T-Mobile. So, 5G is like the next transition for everyone. The only thing is with 5G, there's a lot of costs when it comes to clearance of the spectrum and then paying the satellite operators and everything. All of those costs have just been baked into 2021 and 2022 and some of 2023 CapEx. So I think the costs, the capex is gonna come down significantly in 24 and 25, which gives these guys a lot of deleveraging opportunities. So I don't think there's that much of a bear case. Interest rates remaining higher for longer could be one of them, because some of them did take on a lot of debt, especially Verizon. So that the longer the debt stays elevated, that means that Verizon does have some floating rate debt that does factor into their earnings. But, it just goes to show you that once rates get cut, that's just a tailwind for Verizon rather than a headwind. So I'd say there's a lot more upside to Verizon going forward than a lot of people are giving it credit for. And then also they have a really big disruptive technology in 5G, where 5G can enable a lot of things that weren't necessarily available under the 4G, right? So those are the things. Like today, Axon just did a partnership with Verizon. Let me just show you guys. Sorry. And these are like secondary niche opportunities that a lot of people don't necessarily take into account. But like Axon right now, the company that makes the body cameras. So they actually partner with Verizon to do a lot of things around drones and talking and then communicating via these portals. And then also I think there's also some talk about possibly connecting the cameras directly to a body camera, which is another thing. So there's a lot of connectivity enablement that's going to happen. You're also seeing EVs now. They're just pretty much mobile data centers, which means you need a low latency, high frequency, well, not high frequency, but low latency, high bandwidth connection to the internet and to multiple clouds. And those things are something that people don't necessarily take a look at. But like I said, right now with 5G becoming a big thing, I think Verizon, T-Mobile, especially, both of those companies are going to do very well over the next 5-10 years. So
are they bidding for the law enforcement contract?
They're not bidding. They already got some of it. It just depends, because each law enforcement like department is their own budget, so you can't say one or two. You know, it's
Like
everyone.
right now in New York, they have those robots in the terminals now that kind of run around, and they have like a live video feed. They don't have guns yet, but they can sort of ride around and they can speak through them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Verizon has those contracts.
I'm not sure. I would suppose so, because you do need like some strong network operators to manage all that bandwidth, that data, and then the reliability around it. There's only really 3 main providers, with 4 technically speaking, if you really want to consider US Cellular and Dish to be the number 4. So number 1, 2, and 3 is Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, and the rest is just a hodgepodge of little cellular providers.
It's interesting because you really did develop a thesis on this one, because a lot of the Divvy stocks, again, they either they don't run or they decrease in value, and investors keep them for the dividend. To have capital appreciation and the dividend, that's where it's a really juicy spot to be in. So
yeah,
we'll see as the thesis plays out. If anyone wants to join, you can ask a question. Carlos, go ahead. I'll share this real quick.
I thought you were going to talk about this when I saw Disney pays up. This is what I thought you were talking about today. Did you see this?
Okay, we can talk about that. Yeah,
This is the result of the strike. Disney World workers win a 37% salary bump, $18 an hour minimum wage. After about 8 months of negotiations, approximately 45,000 theme park workers in Disney World have agreed to a $3 an hour bump in pay by the end of 2023 and raises of roughly 37% by 2026. After the final vote next week, Walt Disney workers will, instead of receiving an immediate bump to a $17 minimum an hour, which will rise to $18 an hour by the end of 2023.
It's also more costs for Disney at the end of the day.
Yeah, but we get to this. We'll get into that. The starting wage was $10 an hour in 2018, and now it's going to be $18 an hour. It's a pretty tremendous statistic. The theme parks still remain to be Disney's most successful segment of the business. In fiscal year 2022, the parks division raked in $7.9 billion in operating profit compared to a loss of about $4 billion for its streaming unit. Workers today across the country see that our bosses are getting richer and richer every single day, and we're stuck. Our rent has gone up, gas too expensive, and food is outrageous. What about us? And the final thought is Bob Iger ran the company for many, many years. Prior to his departure, he was in charge when we had to fight for 15. So no, I don't think him coming back had anything to do with our settlement or what we would call a victory. So is that good or bad for them? So now they're going to be paying $3 an hour.
I mean, they're going to have to pay up
$3
more.
an hour more, plus, $4 an hour by the end of this year, times 45,000 people. So I'm going to say in layoffs, there's going to be one less princess on the parade.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they get away with not paying up for those workers. I mean,
they'll just increase prices. That's pretty much what everyone does, right? You pass on the cost to the consumer, and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of TikToks and a lot of YouTube and Instagram stories about how some people are going to like their favorite fast food restaurant and having like a bill of, like, there was this one girl that did like a turkey and double meat with like a 6-inch sub in California, and I think it was like $18 or something.
It's ridiculous.
And I think she was a little bit misleading in that she included like a tip in there, and she did like double turkey and all this other shit, but it was still like $11 to $12 without it, which is still like for a fucking 6-inch. Like, you guys remember we used to get a $5 footlong.
It's funny you bring that up. I just went to Jersey Mike's in North Carolina, where I am, and I was like, I figured I'd be cheap for dinner. I went to Jersey Mike's, and my meal was $20. And because I did get a Coke, I got a water and chips. Okay, I didn't get cherry wine. The cherry wine, and I was like $20. I actually, what am I paying $20 for? She's like, yeah, that is expensive. She's like, would you like me to fill a glass of water for you instead of taking the bottle? I'm like, just give me the water.
Yeah,
but it's $20. It was crazy.
I remember we would get the $5.
New York. This is North Carolina.
When I did that little renovation in the house leading up to the kid being born, I was like, oh, I'm going to go get some lunch, and I didn't want to cook in the house. So we went to Subway. Haven't been to Subway in years. And the last time I went there, you could get a footlong for $5 on Wednesdays. Now I went in there, got the same sandwich, $15. I was like, how did it triple in price in like 3 years? Triple in price. $15 for a sandwich. What?
I mean, don't California like workers make like $25 an hour or something right now?
I don't know what they're making, but it's like these 2 Indian women, the same 2 Indian women still working there, charging me triple. I was like, fuck. I didn't even get cheese on it. I just wanted it toasted. It's like, damn.
Real quick, we got some breaking news here. Warren Buffett has bought $82 million of
Bitcoin.
The ETF tomorrow. Could you imagine Buffett buys the ETF? Could you imagine Buffett buys the ETF? That'd be
if Buffett bought GBTC, that'd be like, okay, it's time to go all in.
Ridiculous.
He bought Series A Liberty Sirius XM common stock. This is not Sirius itself. I think this is their holding company. LSXMA Media Corp Series A.
All right. So
80. We know he owns Sirius. He bought that a couple months ago.
It's out of trading. He knows something. He knows something's coming. He knows something's coming. Come on.
$29 a share for this bad boy.
I agree with the chat. I thought you were going to say he died.
Dude, you guys are. Oh my god,
so wrong.
So you guys are ridiculous. Anyway,
we're gonna talk about
So yeah, last thing I'll say, we're gonna end it off the last 5-10 minutes on this. If you guys don't want to hear this, then you don't have to hear this. But any thoughts on this Epstein list?
We got to bring up. You got to bring up a tweet. I got a tweet here if you want.
You got to go ahead. We'll see. Dude, there's Clinton on it. Alan Dershowitz is on it. Fucking Jimmy Kimmel is on it.
Come out already?
So when
they're all out.
When they had the trial, not all of it. When they had the trial, they actually exposed some of the names, but it was all redacted. And now, like, I guess some of the court documents have been unsealed since it happened.
Stephen Hawking, dude. Like
Stephen Hawking. Okay.
Not of Stephen Hawking.
The guy can't even move. I mean,
the names of more than 170 Epstein.
Carlos, you're sharing the wrong thing. Go to
oh man, sorry.
We're on your porn.
That's here.
No, that's me downloading stuff for the finance junkie stuff.
Dude, I read some of the stuff in the reports, and it's just like they're saying Alan Dershowitz was like having sex with minors. It was just crazy shit.
Big names on the list include former President Bill Clinton, his estranged longtime aide Doug Benn, Prince Andrew, Glenn Dubin, and French modeling agent. There was one that had the whole list. Hold on. Some funny comments though. Me refreshing the website.
I guess speaking in general, because obviously we can go super specific into it, but do you think, here's the question, this is going to have any impact on the people that are included? Like Bill Clinton seems too powerful in my opinion. Bill Gates. Remember Melinda, when she was asked when she divorced him last year, Gayle King on CBS, she was like, were you disturbed by his appearances with Jeffrey Epstein? And she was like, yes, I met Jeffrey Epstein once. He personified evil to me. And I told Bill to never hang out with him again, and he kept hanging out with him, and that was like the kind of nail in the straw. My question is, do you think these guys are actually going to get, is anything going to happen to these powerful people now that the list is official? Because I don't think anything's going to happen. I think it's going to be a new story.
It's only a list. There's no other information.
No, the list includes the names of and then the firsthand accounts of the Jane Does that were being sexually trafficked, and the verbatim transcripts of them saying Bill Gates sexually assaulted me.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it's very explicit. It's just a question of, do you believe it or not?
Right. Say that last part again. Sorry.
That still is not good for Bill Gates. I mean,
it's transcripts of all the women testifying that they were sexually abused by the Bill Gates of the world, the Alan Dershowitz, the Bill Clintons, etc. The question is, do you believe it or not? Because if you believe it, then these guys might.
Well, this is the same segment of our politics that says believe all women, right? So
Carlos is saying,
don't believe it, right? You gotta believe him, you know.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. Where was this list? Where did they get it from? Is this Epstein's own list? Like this was
court. This was court documents from his own. Yeah, this was his list. This was like his.
What he said at court. You're saying.
No. This was from how I understand it. They found a book like in his possession, right? It was part of his own internal documents, and then they seized everything. They basically raided all of his homes and seized everything, and from that they got his client list, or I don't know if you call it a client list, but a list of his associates.
That seems damning.
And then you have the flight logs that show who and where people went, how many times they were on the island. You have to report all this stuff.
I am shocked this hasn't been burned, by the way.
Well, someone did get burned, and they called it a heart attack, but it was not a heart attack.
Who? What are you talking about?
We're talking about Epstein.
Oh yeah. Did you see the pictures of they finally released the autopsy photos of the neck?
I didn't. I would imagine it's not.
I don't want to show that on this, but I'll send it to you. Yeah, if you go on Twitter, you'll see it. They have the autopsy photos of what his neck looked like, and it's like that's strangulation, dude.
All beheadings and killings go on Twitter now.
Everybody.
Chris, any thoughts on? Do you think these guys are going to get hurt, Bill Gates and these guys, or they're going to get away with it?
Nah, they're rich, man. Rich people get away with all sorts of weird shit. I mean, they'll get a slap on the wrist. There's some reputational damage, and then everyone will move on because the attention span of most Americans these days is like 30 minutes, and then shit just goes to the next news cycle. So
I agree.
Yep. Sadly, nothing will come of it. Unless
Is-
you have
is-
a massive.
Is the news media covering this in depth? I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it's a big story, but
Wait, what mainstream media is covering this?
Yeah, who's covering it?
well, Meet Kevin was covering it. Like
Mainstream media.
7,000 people live watching him cover it. I was
We
like,
should
that's
ask Amit what mainstream media is to him now.
yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe let me go to CNN right now.
Go to
What's the
CNN. Go to. Here's what's funny. Go to CNN.
CNN is Nikki Haley at a town hall. Okay, so we got
There you
Go
go.
to CNN.
Why don't you go to your favorite source, Breitbart?
Go to Al Jazeera. You know that's your home
Well,
page.
Fox News is covering it, so we got that. They're
Yeah,
mainstream.
Fox
Fox
would-
News is covering it.
Meet Kevin.
Yeah, because look, the first thing is Bill Clinton. But what I'm saying is, go to CNN. Look what's up on the top. Look what's up at the top.
Why is Michael Jackson there? Hold on. What are they saying about Michael Jackson?
Tinseltown tarnish.
Jackson's on the list? No way. No freaking way.
No, well, it's
Michael
that's a
Jackson
hero.
cannot. Dude, I love Billie Jean. We cannot have him on the list. No way.
I was not his lover.
Oh boy. What else is mainstream? MSNBC. What
Go to
do I-
MSNBC. Go to the search bar and just type Epstein. See what you get.
Yeah, I think I know where mid goes. Meet
fucking-
Kevin, and then he
yeah,
follows it up with
Google is-
Newsmax.
Google is hammering you with that fucking ad.
Dude, I love Inception.
That ad is everywhere now. Holy shit.
Or maybe you can't do a search, and there it is at the bottom again. Go to CNN because they
Oh
definitely.
my god, that ad is following you around.
Dude, it's on CNN.
Okay, first of all, why don't you have an ad blocker while you're showing?
What do you get?
Because I respect advertisers.
Look what you get.
Yeah, they have some articles. They're not on the front page, but they definitely have.
No, but it's not saying. No, it says documents unsealed, but it doesn't say here's the list of people. It doesn't lead with like Bill Clinton.
Yeah. You're
How
right.
about New York Times? How about New York Times? Can you go there? What's there?
No, they don't have any fucking. Where's
I mean-
Epstein? He's not there.
Well, so this is a non-story then. We don't care.
Yes,
Yo,
this is-
literally, that's so sad. It's a non-story. But you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Mhm.
All right. That's it for us. We're ending off the work week. Thank you, 399 people, for being here. Please like and subscribe.
whoa, you didn't give me my last 5 minutes like yesterday you suggested.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Right? You got your shots at me. I get my shots at you, right?
Okay, go ahead.
We'll end this
Oh,
with
so
a
you
segment
were
called-
listening.
We'll end it with a segment called The
Nasty
Last
boy.
Word. Chris gets to have 5 minutes to say whatever the fuck he wants, and we're not going to say anything.
All right, guys. See you later.
Y'all asked for this. Just remember. Just
Go ahead,
remember,
Chris. You
y'all asked
got
for this.
it. You got it.
I'll start off with Amit. Amit by far is the most clueless investor, and anyone who's been listening to him for the last year and a half. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, but I am doing my best to try to educate him and actually bring some real value to Amit. All right.
He's doing a good job.
I'll save Vitaly for last.
Oh, geez.
Carlos is pretty much Vitaly's sidekick, and once in a while,
My side.
Carlos has his own thoughts, but
He's
most of the
been
time he
saving
just
this. I can
parrots.
tell.
But most of the time he just parrots whatever Vitaly says, and you know what? And then when Vitaly does disagree with him once in a while, it's like, oh no, Vitaly's picking on me, and it's like, bro, Vitaly picks on everybody. That's just what it is, Carlos. Vitaly, you are the most myopic person ever. All you do is talk about fucking 4 categories and completely ignore everything else. You either talk about Bitcoin, Enphase, Tesla, and whatever else is the flavor of the day, just so that you feel important.
Ethereum.
You talk
Ethereum.
about all the gains that you've made, but you've never actually shown any documentation that you've actually had any gains. All you want to do is say, I'm a long-term investor and I know what I'm doing, yet you invest in the most speculative parts of the market, which is Bitcoin. And sorry to say, you know what? Anyone calls me a speculator, just look in the mirror. Just look in the mirror.
There we go. The roast. There we go.
I called you a speculator?
Yeah, you said that. Oh, he sells all the time. Also, you said that I would FOMO into Bitcoin.
No, that's a trader. That's not a speculator.
Yeah.
Well, answer that. Do you think you're going to FOMO into Bitcoin? Because I actually defended you. I said Chris is not
No.
doing it, but these guys said you are.
How come I got the brunt of the roast?
Well, you were giving it to him last
You
time.
got all 3. You got it. No, like I said, Bitcoin doesn't interest me because I don't know how to value it. You can't.
Yeah.
If you can't value something, you shouldn't invest in it. That's the thing. The biggest thing that I would say to you guys is you guys already had your exit strategies based on a price target, based on what? Oh, the next guy buying it from me for 100,000. That's my exit strategy. Okay. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. But
The next
that's
guy
not
is called Chris Patel.
But by that comparison, isn't that the same thing for a stock? The only
But there's a
reason
reason the stock goes up. There's like earnings and shit. This is I agree with Chris here. This is pure speculation on the fucking Bitcoin going up. There's nothing fundamental about it.
You're basically betting on the greater fool theory to say the next guy is going to buy it to me for a higher price. You know, yes, you can say that it's a store of wealth, and that's the same thing that you could be said about
Chris
gold
is right
as
about
well.
that. Chris is right.
Well, at least with gold, you have some level of industrial use as well, and so that's also there's been historical valuation around it. With Bitcoin, you're not going to put your Bitcoin like on your neck and walk around with it. Like, no, there's actually some utilitarian use cases for gold, whereas that's not the case for Bitcoin. So, like I said,
but gold wouldn't be worth 2,000, whatever it's worth right now, 2,000 plus per ounce, if it wasn't for just the speculation part of it too, or the store value part of it.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, I agree. There's, like I said, to some people, gold is like, and gold has been around for the last 2,000, 3,000 years. Bitcoin is still a little bit unproven. There's still a lot of people who don't necessarily trust it. It's not as mainstream as people think. You know, there's, like I said, and Amit yesterday was talking about, oh, the transfer fees and everything else. So to me, crypto is one of those things, and you said it yourself, it could lose 90% of its value, which is not exactly a thing that I want to see in my portfolio. Say, oh, you know what? One day everything just drops 90%. So not for me.
Well, what you're doing is you're picking one or two aspects, like cherry picking one or two aspects of the bull case for it and using that as like the source of a bear case. It drops 90% because people understand that the way that those move in market cycles that are built into the technology. That is the reason why the price goes up in the first place.
No, but that is greater fool theory. If it drops 90%, it's because you're offloading it. There's like, if Palantir drops 90%, it's because they shit the bed on a quarter, which is a reason for it to drop. Bitcoin drops 90% because people are fucking at the end of the cycle, which is a bullshit reason for it to drop.
Because well, first of all, you're comparing again a stock to a cryptocurrency.
But hold on real quick before we continue. The reason we're doing that is because Chris is a stock picker, not a crypto picker. So that's why we're doing
what we're saying is that some of the stuff that you use to invest or value companies does not apply to Bitcoin. That's the
point. That's why you don't. That's why he's saying I don't want to invest in Bitcoin. That's the whole.
I'm out of my depth. If I were to invest in Bitcoin, I'd be way out of my depth, which means I don't want to do it.
What we're saying is. What you're saying is
I have to go join me on Cashflow Chronicles where we actually do in-depth research and we don't invest in fucking magic money. Have a good one, guys. Last word of the day complete. Bye.
Well, not really, because now we have the last word.
No, I loved it. That was good. No, but Carl, I do agree with him from this perspective. And again, I'm with you guys. I want Bitcoin to go to the moon, but it is all fucking speculation. That's all it fucking is. Carlos, you can't roll your eyes. This is literally just speculating on someone's gonna buy this shit at 60,000. I got it at 45. There's no reason it should go to 60,000. Maybe there's a halving event.
Well, no. Hold on.
There's not a real reason.
Hold on. There could be speculation, first of all, in something, but there could also be a reason it goes up. It's those two things.
What is the reason outside of speculation?
So hold on a minute. There is a natural accumulation of Bitcoin that's happening. In fact, you can follow on chain how many whole coiners there are, how many wallets are increasing. There's actual fundamental things happening. Institutions.
But none of that is fundamental.
That is fundamental. Institutions adopting it. What are you talking about?
No, but they're buying it to sell it. That's it.
You're not listening to me. In any network, it's still a network. So as the network grows bigger, there is value to the network. What happens is as the network grows bigger, speculators come in mass to overbid the price of the current asset. And obviously we take advantage of people who understand that. I'm not saying we don't. Then it rushes up past what it should be valued at. And that's when we try to offload it to morons. I agree with you on that part because that's the speculation part. And then it retraces back to where actual people accumulated at the correct price. And that happens every single time because it's a new thing. Okay.
But my point is that retracement and that upside is purely speculative. Like if Palantir goes up or down, it's something about the company. Yeah, of course there's speculation because it's a stock.
That's bullshit, by the way. Lots of companies.
That's bullshit. If Palantir's not gap profitable,
go past their intrinsic value and then they retrace back.
I will tell you why. Because if what you're saying is true, then you would be 100% accurate in all of your picks based on looking at PE, price to sales and earnings.
I'm not saying there's not a multiple on something.
Hold on, let me finish my point. What I'm saying is, if what you were saying is true, then you would absolutely be able to predict the movement in stock price action just based on earnings per share. You would say, oh, then it's going to go to this price because that's what it's fairly valued at based on these metrics. It doesn't work that way. There is speculation in it. Why do you think company?
No, but you're carrying. I'm not saying there's no speculation. I'm saying Bitcoin there's like 99% speculation. Whereas a stock, you have some fucking earnings to look at, and then of course there's speculation. There's options, all this shit.
But again, what I'm saying is, if what you're saying is true, then if you have good earnings, it would automatically translate to a higher stock price. How many times is that not? How many times is that?
Like usually, that's why stocks go up over time if they do well.
No, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always
happen. Over the long term.
I think you mean over the long term, a decade of good free cash flow growth will increase the stock price. True, but during any quarter, 2 quarters, even a year, stocks go up way over their intrinsic value and then have to crash back down. We've seen that happen a million times over and over.
Most of the companies that do have that sort of massive growth and have ballooned are from buybacks. They're buying their own fucking shares. So they're literally
sure, that's fine.
Into their own companies. They're buying. What they're doing is they're buying their own shares and basically burning those shares so they will never be sold. That is exactly what's happening in crypto. I don't see how.
There you go. Well, that's the thing.
Here's the thing.
You got it correctly. We're in this because we believe wholeheartedly that it's going up and we're going to make a lot of money. So, and the thing is, over the last decade, Bitcoin has proven that is the case. Okay.
Agreed.
So the fact is, someone like Kris is completely ignoring actually a decade of history. So he can say, yeah, I look at 2,000 years of gold. I studied that. But no. He's ignoring 10 years, 12 years of Bitcoin history. Why? Because he doesn't want to actually learn about.
Here's my thing. Maybe this example makes sense to you. You guys are Tesla shareholders. You want to dump Tesla maybe at like $2,000 a share. You know something has to happen for it to go from 230 to 2,000. Cybertruck, this, blah blah blah, all the different things. That's like fundamental shit. For Bitcoin to get from 45 to 100, which I agree can get to. All I know is someone has to be stupid enough to buy it at 50 and 60 and 70 because there's no other fundamental reason for it to go up other than the fact that someone's willing to pay for it. Whereas Tesla, they have to make cars. That is the comparison.
You're the wrong thing. The reason why that. Hold on. If an ETF comes out and people hold it in their account and people are accumulating it, just the network's effect of that is actually a fundamental reason for something to go up.
No, that's just speculation.
If you were accumulating Charizard cards and holding those and someone else is, and then someone else finds value in that card will go up in price.
I agree. It's bad speculation, but a stock, they have earnings for Tesla that has to justify the move before you dump it on the person.
There's no earnings for Bitcoin. We've discussed this. It's not.
That's my point. That's the reason it's purely speculation.
Yeah, no, but okay. But once again, because you are again, we're going back to the same. You are comparing it to a stock. It's not a stock. Imagine it like real estate. It's like real estate.
But Carlos, you keep saying this. The reason I'm comparing it is to prove the point that a stock has speculation, but there's something deeper there.
Let me make this point. Okay. Let's stop comparing it to stocks. Okay. Because it's not a stock. Let's compare it to real estate. You buy a property in a specific area where you're saying it's a greater fool theory, someone else willing to give you more money for it, right? Well, if you're buying a property in one specific area, the value of that property will be decided by what else is being sold around it. There's other things around that property that determine the value of the property.
That's fundamental. If you build a really good mall near the house,
then what it is,
the house should rise in value.
This is what it is. The things that are fundamental about crypto, you are labeling them speculative because you consider.
Give me an example. Give me something that's fundamental that I'm labeling as speculative. I'm just curious.
Like what I'm telling you. Okay, Vitaly was saying about the network effect. There are miners that are actually verifying and executing those transactions are being paid in Bitcoin, right? And that is being used to fund their operations. So they need to take that. They need to take that and they need to sell that into fiat currency, and they need to continue to invest in their operations so that they can continue to execute the transactions that happen on the network. So they are basically investing the energy that they are using, and they are turning it into value.
How is that fundamental?
Because that's fundamentally how they're
doing it to mine more Bitcoin.
Yes.
Literally just to
and they're turning that energy. They're turning that energy into.
I didn't disagree with the fact that it's speculation. I disagree that it's only speculation. It is.
I'm saying it's 99.9% speculation. I'll give you 0.1%.
Anything you invest in,
it depends when.
You are anything that you invest in is speculative because you are basically betting on it going up.
No, but Carlos, this is the part where I don't get how you're not understanding this. If I'm speculating on Tesla, I'm speculating that the company will do something that's valuable.
But you're talking about a stock again.
Okay, maybe you're not getting this.
What's
the reason I'm comparing the stock, I don't get the reason I'm comparing the stock to Bitcoin is because a stock, I'm kind of like defending Kris, but also the argument that Bitcoin is just greater fool theory. A stock is always speculation. There's always a fucking.
You know what, Carlos? We don't have to defend anything. Amit, just sell your fucking Bitcoin. Don't worry about it.
No, I don't have that much Bitcoin anyway. But
hold
on, let me just make this point.
Calls that you
because I know if Bitcoin goes up, I'm not selling my hood.
No, but ask yourself the same questions about the euro right now. Would you be
I'm
asking?
Not talking about that, dude. I'm talking about if I want Palantir to go higher, it has to execute. That's fundamental. If I want Bitcoin to go higher, I need a schmuck to buy Bitcoin.
You're
That's
talking
yes.
about
Well, no, hold on. You are right. At $150,000, that guy's a schmuck. I agree with you there. At $15,000, that guy was not a schmuck.
I agree.
It depends when. By the way, the schmuck who bought Tesla at $1.2 trillion was a schmuck.
I agree.
Okay, the guy who bought Enphase at 340 was a schmuck. So the guy who bought Palantir at $25 was a schmuck.
I agree with that. But my only point is, all assets
lots of speculation in the market, buddy.
There's always speculation in assets. I believe that the majority of Bitcoin is because this ETF, everyone's betting on this. It's all speculative. BlackRock's going to be buying it, so we think it's going to go up.
So hold on. You're actually bringing up a fundamental thing that will happen. Okay, so maybe it doesn't happen in January, but let's say it happens a year from now. That thing is going to happen. Okay, so that is. It's not like it's not going to happen for 100 years. Okay, it happens next year, the following year. So the person who's holding that Bitcoin will end up profiting from it. So he's from a fundamental event. Okay. Not an earnings report. You're right. There's no earnings report, but it is a fundamental event that improves the network of Bitcoin. This is what you're betting on. You're betting on the network. And I'll give you another example. In the beginning, people bet on the network called United States of America. People literally bet on that. That could have failed when it was 13 colonies. They bet on it. They put their money, they put their time in it. It grew to this massive thing, and they believe in the US dollar. That's a network.
Yeah, but that's
the same thing.
Then it goes into the utility of the US dollar versus Bitcoin, and then
look, it's the same thing. If you were in like the early 2000s and you went to Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and you saw all these warehouses and all basically everything like east of Berry Street was just warehouses and empty lots, and you bought a plot of land or you bought a home in that area, it was worth a certain amount. You don't have to do anything to that house, but as long as other people come in and invest around your area and people start to buy homes and build businesses, and now that suddenly becomes a place that people want to live, that same house has raised its intrinsic value because there are people that are willing to pay more for it. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. It's way more like a property.
Yeah, my only disagreement is that there's nothing that happened to that property other than someone agreeing to pay more, whereas the house, the neighborhood got better. That's why the value went up. So
all right, you guys can finish this.
Okay.
That's it. No, I got to leave too.
But real quick, the people people buying houses around that area have invested money into it. They've literally put their money into that area. And it has raised the property values of everything in that area.
But it made the neighborhood better, Carlos. Like there was a mall, there's a better school, all this shit.
Yes. But the people that have invested after you bought your Bitcoin have made your Bitcoin more valuable.
How? Other than buying it, how did they make it better? They just bought it.
Because Bitcoin is a currency pool, just like I'm sorry to tell you, Palantir is too.
Not when they're charging me $15 to send $5. This is not a great currency.
You just fundamentally don't get it, and I'm kind of done trying.
Listen, who cares if it's a Charizard or not? Okay, we're gonna make some.
Dude, I just wanted to go to the moon to make money. I don't give a fuck about Bitcoin. I just wanted to go up so I can make money, and I think so do you guys, and so does the chat. That's what we can all agree on. We can all agree on.
Once again, it's hard for Kris doesn't get it at all, but you should see that there's just two things going on. There is a speculation part. There's a fundamental part. And those things diverge all the time.
I agree.
And then they come back together, and then they diverge and come back together. As any new technology, this is a technology too. It's a technology play. So they're going to diverge multiple times over the next 10, 20, 30 years until it's an established technology and nobody cares about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's part of the system.
And if it has more usage, then it will be a really big
technology. It's that simple. It's not pure speculation, like you said, which it is obviously a lot of speculation when it diverges. And when it comes back, that's when smart people understand that, hey, this is a technology play, but I might be here too early. Do you know what I'm saying? And I have to wait a decade.
The speculative aspect of Bitcoin's price is the same speculation that you have investing in any stock. because you're speculating that it's going to go up based on some certain fundamentals, whatever your reasons are for investing in a stock. But it doesn't.
No. Look, the stocks are different, Carlos. He's right about that because the earnings, stocks do have earnings.
But if it did, we would be 100% right going into every earnings season. Every single earnings, we would know exactly what's going to happen to the price and how many times has a company beat on every.
I'm not saying there's no speculation with stocks. I'm just saying there's a lot more with Bitcoin.
And what I'm saying is 99% Bitcoin and 50% stocks, right?
Yeah. What I'm saying is that the same. I'm not even talking percentages. What I'm saying is the same way that you speculate about the price of a stock is the same way that you speculate about the price of Bitcoin. It's just different things that will prove that right or wrong. And on stocks, we think it's fundamentals like this and earnings and P, but that's the markets do whatever they want. If people want something, then it will stay overvalued based on its value for years. And you can look at companies that people just want to buy. People that believed in Amazon pushed it to a ridiculous PE, and people are like, it's overvalued, it's overvalued. Not if the market says so. If the market doesn't agree with you, then the market doesn't agree with you. It's actually fair value because a lot of people wanted that stock. And that's the same thing that happened in Tesla stock. People want it. They want to hold it. They just want to hold it. They don't care about the PE. They're like, I want to hold the company. I believe in the company. I'm going to buy it. And it's sitting way overvalued based on what the fundamentals are for what the company.
Yeah, but remember, Carlos, the people that are holding it for their irrational reasons, they at the end of the day believe the company will do something to grow. So I guess that's where there's a little bit of rational.
So what happens when they hold gold? What happens when they hold gold? They believe the company will do something.
Or they believe that more people
believe
wear
gold
gold
itself has value.
Right.
The network of gold that other people believe gold has value.
But it's also, but Vitaly, it's also tied to the rarity of gold. It's also tied to the idea that we're not just going to make more fucking gold. And we already know you're not going to make any more Bitcoin. This is another thing that makes it that store of value.
I agree with you. I 100% agree. That finite nature, that's
and there's a third thing. The US dollar devalues. We all know that. In 10, 20 years, if you just kept the dollar under your mattress,
those things are fundamental. I agree with that.
It's probably worth 50 cents. So people are like, where can I put my money? It's either gold or Bitcoin or real estate. That's where we find our assets or equities. So different people have different things to do, but those are fundamental things. Don't forget.
I agree. That's fair.
And you can somewhat say that about real estate. You know, you within reason, they're not making any more land.
Stop saying gold has industrial use. Everybody knows it. You're not a genius because you figured that out. It wouldn't be worth $2,500 an ounce if it just was used for fucking circuits. Okay. That's not why people pay that much money for it.
Got some gold right here.
No, what I'm saying, yeah, when someone goes to the store, it's not because, hey, can I use this in my circuit board? No.
Okay. Right. This is a good discussion. We'll see you guys Sunday, 9 p.m. and we'll keep going from there. Thank you everybody for joining. Please like and subscribe. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
We'll see you guys later.
Kris is wrong. Bye.
Bye.